Okay, so this mic is on. I wasn't going to make a video because it's late, and I know that when I start getting angry, I start raising my voice, and it is like, what, 1:34 in the morning? So I'm going to try and keep this as short as possible. So Elon Musk has been revealed to be a Nazi, and it's becoming apparently evident that when it comes to the public, Zuckerberg, Trump, and Musk are united among each other. They may be bitter rivals behind the scenes, but when it comes to pulling stunts on the public and getting the public to talk about it, they're very much united. After all this time, Trump and the American government finally learned from the British. And what I mean by that is, just like the conservatives, the Republicans have increasingly hid behind their apparent stupidity in order to conceal laws and legislations that would be even more oppressive. If they are using deportation and Nazi salutes to distract people, you can only imagine what the fuck these people are doing behind the scenes. All the horrific racism, mass deportations of immigrants, all of this is just, as horrific as all of this is just spectacle. All of this is just spectacle to cover up what they're really doing behind the scenes. Now, what are they doing behind the scenes? I don't know. I know it's not good. And on top of that, Elon Musk has been in cohorts with Nigel Farage as well, even though they recently had a falling out. I don't even know if that's real. That's probably another stunt. But the far right is on the rise everywhere, globally. And gang stalking helped to make that happen. But I have to admit, I cannot just blame this on gang stalking. I also have to blame, we're all guilty. We're all guilty. But I also have to blame the majority of the public. There are fucking billions of you. Why is a handful of people's voices more important than the thousands of people who are telling you that the Havana Syndrome and the gang stalking are part and parcel of how Nazism is returning to power? Even the gang stalkers themselves have been telling me that that's what they're doing. The California eugenicists, there was an American person in an internet cafe back in Willesden Green where I used to live. There was an internet cafe right down the end of my road that I used to go to all the time. There was an American in there called Stephen. I can't remember what his full name was, but he used to have documents. And among those documents, like, he left a printout lying around, and it was all about the California eugenicists and Nazism, and how Nazism was inspired by the California eugenicists to perform the Holocaust. Next thing you know, when Nazi scientists are captured, there are those of them who have made deals with NATO in order to utilize their science for multiple projects, which include gang stalking. Gang stalking started with Operation Paperclip. And who was Operation Paperclip started under? The Republican Party. The same Republican Party that are in cahoots with people who throw Nazi salutes. Now, this day. This has been happening for decades, long before the word gang stalking was even something that was floating around. And that American guy in that internet cafe, I I don't know whether he was a perp or not. I think he was. And I think through those papers that he left behind, he was literally telling me what gang stalking was about. That's what I believe. I could be wrong, but that's what I believe. Now it's happening. You've got the same motherfucker who throws Nazi salutes, who literally owns a social media publication. You've got TikTok, who is in cahoots with Donald Trump, the same guy who wanted to ban them, or who signed an executive order to ban TikTok. Now TikTok's back. Now you've got Mark Zuckerberg talking about how he wants to bring like rigid masculinity. So basically he's basically appealing to the red pill crowd now. It's happening. And gang stalking. We have to remember what gang stalking is. It's not just about taking a handful of people and making their life hell. It's basically military recon in reverse. Instead of using a handful of people to check things out, on enemy ground, right? Instead of doing that, it's recon in reverse. So they send scores of people to observe and psychologically target a handful of people, recon in reverse. Find out everything that you can about these handfuls of people. Find out how to best control them so that you can try and get the most successful methods out to everyone else, the most successful methods of psychological warfare. But it doesn't stop there. Targeted individuals have also been used for experimentation with pharmaceuticals that have not been properly tested. We have also been used as test subjects for weaponry, including Dragonfire, which came out last year just after my mother's death. You've got scores of elders dying, and especially in black and brown communities, and you've got children who are going to have it even worse than we did when we were young. I'm nearly 40 now. You're going to have children who are going to have it far worse than I did when I was a child. You've got children suffering and elderly dying. All because of this gang stalking, reconnaissance in reverse crap. All because of this experimentation crap. And if you think for 1 second that they haven't used military technology and pharmaceuticals and tracking technology for gerrymandering, and I'm talking about all the Five Eyes, not just America. If you think they haven't used that technology for gerrymandering and rigging votes, you're fucking naive. You've got a fucking problem. There are many gang stalking victims in America that have reported being tortured more under Trump or being tortured more under Obama. That is a psyop. That is a psyop. Just like everybody voting on TikTok, like every party unanimously voting to ban TikTok, only for Trump to come back and unban it. That's a psyop. What they do is they test their psychological warfare out and their electronic warfare out on us, like I said before, and then whatever works best with us, they use on the rest of you, and it's fucking worked. Because from what I see, TIs have been trying to warn you for decades about what was going on. And there were people like me who tried to warn you about what was happening to marginalized people because we are always a testing ground. We tried to warn you for God knows how long about what was going to happen, but you sleepwalked or sleepwalked right into it. Now, every time I observe gang stalkers of any color, any creed, any background, I see a white supremacist Nazi. Because that is what they did all this for. They think they did it for their families. They think they did it for love. No, they did it for white supremacist Nazis. And I would take comfort in the fact that they have to live with that mistake if it didn't mean that the people like us, people like TIs who told the truth, wouldn't be targeted first and hardest. It's going to be mentally vulnerable people who knew the truth all along. Not me, but there's going to be mentally vulnerable people who knew the truth all along, physically vulnerable people who knew the truth all along, people like me who knew the truth all along, black people, brown people, women, queer people who knew the truth all along that are going to be targeted first. Because one thing about the old guard's enemies and the new guard's enemies is that they have the same fucking enemy. The truth tellers. They have the same enemy, the truth tellers. My fellow TIs, please do not expect gang stalking to end just because it's exposed. Don't expect it to end. In fact, you should expect it to get a lot fucking worse. You should expect it to get a lot fucking worse. Prepare to defend yourselves if necessary. Prepare to defend yourself psychologically, physically, manicure. Defend yourselves at all costs. Get ready. Because then the shit hits the fan, just like we all said it would. They're going to come after us first. Don't get scared. Don't panic. Don't despair. Prepare. Yes, I know that a lot of you are going to be electronically hit. Do what you need to do. Physically exercise, work out, defend yourself mentally. Learn how to manage your emotions. Do all of these things because these fucking stalkers are coming after us. They're going to come after us worse than ever. White supremacists are going to come after us. Now is the time for us to stop appealing to people who don't want to be happy. They don't want to be happy. They don't want to be free. They don't want what we want. And we don't want to take over nothing, but we have to be prepared to defend ourselves at all costs. What matters is the way we conduct ourselves and the way that we go out. We do not go out like dogs. We go out like what? Lions. Prepare. Be prepared. And my fellow TIs, I suggest that you get phone numbers. Start getting phone numbers. Start meeting up physically. Start talking to one another. Start rooting out the handlers in our community, because there are handlers in our community. There are handlers in our community. You need to smoke them out. Smoke out the handlers in our community. Get phone numbers. Get addresses. And especially if those people come from your own background, if they're black or brown or even working class white, like you've got to unite with people of your own community as well, especially queer TIs. I know there are a lot more queer TIs than are actually aware that they're queer. Women TIs as well, like you've got to align with your own communities. You've got to do it. Strengthen yourselves in real life. Social media is owned by fascists. It's been owned by fascists this entire time, or at least it's been owned by sociopaths who only cared about power, no matter how they got it. Prepare to defend yourselves, not to fight, not to go looking for trouble, but to defend yourselves at all costs. Because these people are not fucking playing. This is not going to be a respite for us. This is not going to be a time for us to rest. Truth be told, I've had a lot of opportunities that I've squandered that could have prepared me better for what's going on right now. But I have to make do with what I have, even if it is too late technically. Even if it's too late, I have to prepare as much as I can. Because this shit is not a joke. And I've tried to warn people, I've tried to warn my own communities. Again, people don't want to be happy. They just want to feel happy. And there's a difference. Leave the dead to the dead. Prepare. Make sure your finances and your resources are taken care of. Make sure you know who to go to and what to do. Make sure you know. Shit is not a game. This shit is not a fucking game. And now we got fucking so-called truth tellers that have already been exposed as shills. This is not a game. Prepare. That's all I'm saying. Okay? Oh, what else? I've got a reading coming up today. There are major astrological alignments happening. And the inauguration just happened just before that. That's not a coincidence. It's not a coincidence. Even though, does it happen the same day every year? I think it does. January seems to be the month for fascism, unless I'm mistaken. January seems to be the month. But, yeah. Now every time I look at a gang stalker, I just see a Nazi. And the way the gang stalkers are going to suffer the consequences, it's not going to be from the top down. It's not going to be from the people who most deserve it first. It never happens like that. It's always going to be from the bottom up. So the black and brown gang stalkers, they're going to suffer first. Children gang stalkers, elderly gang stalkers are going to suffer first. They always do. Muslim gang stalkers are definitely going to suffer. Jewish gang stalkers too. All of them. But from the bottom up, think from the bottom up. The darker, poorer, more female and younger that you are, is the more likely you're going to be the one that suffers first from your actions if you are a gang stalker. Add queer to the list. Queer gang stalkers. Indigenous gang stalkers too. If you belong to any marginalized group and you have been a part of this Nazi bullshit, you will suffer first. You're poor, you will suffer first. Even if you're poor white, you will suffer first. You know, and then it goes up, fairer, richer, and by the time it reaches the top, the least consequences of this bullshit will be felt. For the simple reason that the truth tellers are always the enemies that people try to get rid of. Because like I said, truth brings division. Because when it comes to the truth, people don't want to look at the whole truth. They want to look at the section of the truth that benefits them. I'm a human being. I do it too. The truth divides people because people don't want to look at the truth in its entirety, just in case they give power to the other person. People need good enemies to rally behind. Those enemies will be us. Speaking of which, don't expect any news reports denouncing us, calling us crazy. Instead, expect more attempted sectioning. Expect more coercive murder through psychiatric trafficking. That's what you should expect. That's what you should expect. Expect more murder through psychiatric trafficking. Expect more genocide through psychiatric trafficking. That's what you should expect. When it comes to the gang stalkers, a good chunk of the gang stalkers that I've been around have been hospitalized more than I have. As much as they don't know or won't acknowledge it, they're being trafficked through psychiatry as well. Because they're disposable. Why wouldn't they be? The ones that I know anyway, they're being disposed of through psychiatric trafficking. And if they're not being disposed through psychiatric trafficking, they're being disposed of through disease or through poverty, famine. The gang stalkers are also being disposed of. But whilst they're being disposed of, they will come after us. They will. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The truth tellers are always the victims. Don't be a victim. If you're going to go out fighting. Even if for the rest of your afterlife, they call you every kind of villain in the fucking book. You fight. I don't give a fuck. Protect yourselves and protect the communities that you belong to, especially if there are TIs within them. Protect yourselves. And financially, things are going to get worse as well. They've already been really bad. But when finances get bad, people get angry. And when people get angry, they get reckless. Learn to manage your resources. Don't spend too much. Like even if you are broke, like me, I'm broke at the moment. Don't spend too much. Don't court too much attention from the gang stalkers. Don't court too much attention from anybody. Gang stalkers are envious people. Again, they have put themselves on a path to certain death just to feel like they are less miserable than you are. Don't spend too much money. And I'm talking to myself too. Don't spend too much money. Don't do too much. Don't be too flashy. None of that. You know, you can have little cheap things here and there. Little cheap things. But your home borderline has to be a barracks. And especially just in case you have to move from place to place. This is the thing that a lot of people don't recognize about desire, is that it leaves you vulnerable. This is one of the reasons why psychological warfare is aimed towards highlighting your flaws, because if they keep highlighting your flaws, or if they keep making what you do into a flaw, everything that you do into a flaw, if they leave you without company, leave you without possessions, leave you without this, that, and the third, they leave you wanting. And whilst you are wanting, whilst you desire things, you're vulnerable. Do not desire too much. Do not expect too much. Desire leaves you vulnerable. Love strengthens you. Go for things and people that you love every time. Because even when the gang stalkers try to fuck with it, that will not fuck with you. If you have love on your side, that won't fuck with you at all. Love is the key. Desire just leaves you vulnerable. It just leaves you vulnerable. So that's why the gang stalkers keep you wanting. Replace your desire with knowledge. I've been lucky enough where spirit has blessed me. Not necessarily in terms of keeping the fucking scumbags out of my life, but in terms of like just straight up denying me the things that I desire, because not only does desire leave me vulnerable, that desire is built on this idea that there's something wrong with me. And it's also built on fear and hatred. Spirit was teaching me. You see, that's how I'm blessed. I'm blessed to not get what I want all the time. I'm blessed with that because now I understand. When you get what you want all the time, it leaves you unprepared for war. It leaves you unprepared to defend yourself. When you want too much, it just leaves you vulnerable. It leaves you vulnerable. It's better to know than to want. Every time. Every fucking time. As much as many of you are not leaders, now it's time to start thinking like one. The world is way too complicated for the simple reason that people do not want to see the whole truth. They want parts of it that they can consume. The truth is too much in one sitting, like all of the truth, because it holds so many different points of view within it. And yet it's the truth. People can only handle their truth. Doesn't matter how much you talk on social media, people are just not getting it. They don't care. Illusion is what unites people. Illusion people can handle. They can handle like one sliver of truth and the rest of it illusion. Illusion people can handle. They cannot handle the truth. You have to handle it. And when I talked about the type of shit that gang stalking, the capabilities that gang stalking had, not just with not just with torturing us, but also shifting the political landscape through provoking people's emotions. You can also rig sporting events. And on top of that, the most important thing, the same tactics that is used in gang stalking has already been used with different tribes in various countries, or at least one country, should be honest. Like, the same thing that has been done to us has actually caused genocides before. I didn't know this until a few years ago. Operation Crimson Mist in Rwanda. I didn't know about that. I didn't know about, I don't know if it's called Operation Crimson Mist. I think it is. But the technology that is used with nanotechnology and with electronic weaponry, the technology that is used in gang stalking has already caused genocide. It has already caused genocide. Imagine what that technology can do to smaller nations who want independence from a bigger state. The capabilities are absolutely endless. You can take that technology and turn the whole world into one big state, and they're already working towards making that happen. And the fascists like Elon Musk and Nigel Farage and fucking Donald Trump, they will be the sacrificial wolves to this operation. They will, Donald Trump will be assassinated, I know that, but they will be the sacrificial wolves to these efforts. They will bring in the New World Order. Or when they've brought in the New World Order, they will be disposed of. But in the meantime, those of us who are truth-telling, we need to watch our backs. I want to tell you to get off social media. But first of all, that would be hypocritical as fuck. And second of all, I know you're not going to do that anyway. But you need to spend time preparing for war. This is serious. Prepare to defend yourselves. There's going to be a lot of angry, stupid people out there on every side. Don't let the race and politics fool you. There's angry, stupid people in all corners, all lashing out, all talking shit. Yeah, need to prepare. No, I don't know what to do about my evidence, my gang stalking evidence on social media. I think I'll keep it for as long as I can. I think I will keep it for as long as I can, even though I've been reported twice on Elon Musk's platform, for speaking up for trans people and for speaking up for the queer community. I've been reported twice on two of my different accounts. And ordinarily, I'd be annoyed by that shit, but that's actually two of my proudest moments. If I'm being reported, it means I'm getting to people. Good. Good. Know what I mean? I'm certainly not about to give those fuckers any money. And they can fucking whistle for it. And fucking whistle. Healthcare is going to take a nosedive as well, so be prepared for that. Yeah. Yeah, things are going to get bad. Another thing I want to tell you, TIs, before I go. If you have something that you love to do, do it. I'm not talking about something that you're passionate about. That's different. Passion is limerence. Limerence is fear or hatred. I'm not talking about passion. I'm talking about what you love. If there's something that you love. Is there something that you enjoy that allows you to retain your dignity no matter what happens in the world? Is there something that you have like that? If there is, do it. I guarantee you, nothing will stop you from doing it. And that will be your superpower. And in the meantime, also make sure you spiritually protect yourselves. I don't care if you believe in a God or not. Spiritually protect yourselves, because these gang stalkers, through their NLP techniques, a lot of TIs talk about, oh, gang stalkers are performing witchcraft. That's exactly what the fuck they're doing. That's exactly what the fuck they're doing. But they're doing it through mundane works. They're doing it through NLP. They're doing it through electronic torture, so that your mind partially manifests what they attempt to bring out in you. They are absolutely using witchcraft. In my case, quite literally. Okay? And I'm not just talking about those fascist idiots upstairs from where I live. I'm talking about like, it's been done before. There's been attempts to curse me before because I won't go down. So everything that I've been saying, I'm not lying. I've never lied. Well, I've gotten things wrong, but I've never lied about the shit. Because that's what these fuckers do. They will never have the courage or the balls to go after their real enemies. They will always go after the truth tellers first. I know, because I've experienced that first fucking hand repeatedly. And I mean repeatedly. I've experienced that first fucking hand. Don't let Israel versus Palestine fool you. Don't let Russia versus Ukraine fool you. Both Russia and Ukraine have got a healthy amount of neo-Nazis in that bitch. Don't let them fool you. Don't let Israel versus Palestine fool you. You've got plenty of anti-blackness on both sides. Don't let them fool you. Both of those wars are performing pantomime on a world stage, and lives are being sacrificed in the process. Don't let them fool you. And on top of that, World War III is coming. Not big bombs, nothing like that, but a lot of fucking blood. There's going to be a lot of fucking blood. There's going to be a lot of fucking caging. A lot of fucking open air holocausts. World War III is coming. Prepare yourselves. Defend yourselves. Love. Love will give you your dignity. Love will give you your courage. Don't be afraid to love. Do not be afraid of it. Love is your fucking superpower. Trust me, I know. Love will keep you strong. It's desire that won't. It's desire that will weaken you. And now, I suggest, get on that as quickly as possible. Make sure you upload this video before it's taken down. Save it. I don't care what you do. Get it saved. Share it as widely as possible. This shit is not a drill. And in the meantime, I'm going to go to bed because it's fucking late. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to drink my chamomile tea and go to bed. I'll give you the fucking Swati last quarter moon reading today, later on today. A little bit of tarot. I'm going to go into the Pluto in Aquarius, Pluto in Uttarashara on Empress Justice Astrology and Empress Justice Tarot. So take care, peace and blessings. Don't despair, prepare.